I worked at a morgue for 3 years, long enough for death to lose its shock, but never long enough for it to feel normal. People like to imagine morgues as quiet, sterile places, frozen in time, but that's a lie we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. A morgue is alive in its own way. Machines hum, fluorescent lights buzz, freezers breathe in slow mechanical rhythms, and the dead, no matter how still they seem, bring something with them when they arrive. I took the night shift because it paid a little more and because I told myself I preferred the quiet. Fewer families, fewer questions, fewer eyes watching what I did. At night, it was just me, the bodies, and the building. The kind of job where hours stretch until time feels warped, like the clock on the wall is mocking you. Most nights followed the same routine: intake paperwork, tagging, storage, occasional autopsies if a case was urgent. You learn patterns quickly. You learn which drawers stick, which lights flicker, which hallways feel colder than the rest even when the thermostat says otherwise. You also learn something else. Bodies don't feel as empty as people think they do. I don't mean spiritually, not at first. I mean physically. Weight distribution changes after death. Muscles relax, joints loosen. A body isn't a statue, it's an object that continues obeying physics long after the person is gone. Arms fall when you lift them. Heads roll if you're not careful. Gases build. Skin shifts. That knowledge keeps you calm when something unexpected happens. At least it's supposed to. The body that moved came in on a Tuesday. Male, late 30s. Found alone in an apartment after neighbors complained about a smell. No visible trauma. Cause of death listed as undetermined pending autopsy. The kind of case that blends into the background. I remember him because of his eyes. They were open when he arrived. That's not unusual. Sometimes eyelids don't close, sometimes first responders don't bother. Still, there was something uncomfortable about the way his eyes stared upward, unfocused but alert enough to make you feel watched. I closed them before storage, pressed gently, like I'd done hundreds of times before. They stayed shut. I tagged him, logged him, rolled him into cold storage, drawer C17. I didn't think about him again until later that night. Around 2:40 a.m., the building made one of its usual sounds, a low metallic thump echoing through the hallways. Freezers expand and contract. Pipes knock. You get used to it, but then it happened again, closer this time. I paused at my desk, pen hovering over paperwork. The sound wasn't sharp like metal. It was dull, wet, like something heavy settling into place. I told myself it was nothing. Morgues are full of nothing sounds that become something if you let your imagination wander. Still, I checked the monitors. Each storage room had a camera pointed down the main aisle. Grainy black and white footage, low frame rate, more for liability than surveillance. I scanned each feed, nothing. Then I reached C aisle. At first I didn't see it. Then I noticed drawer C17 wasn't flush. It was open, not wide, just an inch, maybe 2. That shouldn't happen. The drawers are heavy. They lock into place unless someone pulls them out. I stared at the screen longer than I should have. The gap didn't move. I laughed under my breath, the sound thin and forced. You're tired, I told myself. That's all. I grabbed my keys and walked down the hallway. The air felt thicker near cold storage. It always did, but that night it felt crowded, like the room was holding its breath. Drawer C17 was open exactly as I'd seen it on the monitor. I stood there for a moment, hand on the handle, listening. Nothing, no movement, no sound. I pulled the drawer fully open. The body lay exactly as I'd left it. Supine, arms at sides, sheet pulled up to the chest, eyes closed. I checked the rails, the latch. Everything seemed fine. Maybe I hadn't pushed it in all the way earlier. It happens. I slid the drawer shut until it clicked. As I turned away, something brushed my wrist. I froze. Slowly, I looked down. His fingers were curled around the edge of the sheet. Not gripping, resting, like a sleeping person holding a blanket. My heart slammed so hard I felt it in my throat. I stared at his hand, waiting for it to fall, to twitch, to do something that would explain it. It didn't move. I told myself the position must have shifted when I opened the drawer. Rigor mortis can be unpredictable. Gravity does strange things. I pried his fingers loose and tucked his hand back against his side. This time I stood there longer before closing the drawer. Nothing happened. I went back to my desk. I should have reported it. I know that now. But reporting something like that means paperwork, scrutiny, questions about whether you're fit for night duty. And once you've been labeled unstable, it follows you. So I stayed quiet. At 4:12 a.m., the alarms went off. Not the fire alarm, not security. The temperature alarm. Cold storage C was warming. That shouldn't be possible. Each aisle is independently regulated. A single failure wouldn't spike the entire section. I ran. Cold air spilled into the hallway as I opened the door. The chill hit me like a wall, sharp and metallic. The lights flickered overhead. Every drawer in C aisle was open. Not fully, just enough. Dozens of metal slabs gaped toward me, sheets hanging loose, pale shapes barely visible beneath. My first thought was system failure, power surge, mechanical malfunction. Then I saw C-17. His drawer was open wider than the rest. The sheet had slipped down to his waist. His chest was rising, slowly, shallow, but unmistakably breathing. I staggered back, nearly slipping on the condensation, slicking the floor. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. This couldn't be happening. Dead people don't breathe. I fumbled for my radio, fingers numb. Before I could press the button, his head turned. The sound of it was wrong. Not the soft rustle of skin against metal, a wet, dragging noise like something heavy being pulled through mud. His eyes opened. They weren't clouded. They weren't empty. They were aware, and they locked onto me. His lips parted. Cold vapor poured from his mouth. "I've been waiting," he said. His voice wasn't loud. It wasn't even threatening. It was tired, like someone who'd been holding a conversation in their head for a very long time. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my body refused to cooperate. I stood there shaking, heart pounding, mind desperately searching for logic, hallucination, stress, sleep deprivation. He swung his legs over the edge of the drawer. The sound of bare skin scraping against steel made my stomach turn. "I tried to stay still," he continued. "I really did." I finally found my voice. "You're dead," he smiled. "I know." He stood. His feet hit the floor with a dull slap. Around us, other drawers creaked. Something shifted beneath the sheets. "You shouldn't have closed my eyes," he said softly. That made it harder to remember where I was. The lights went out. In the darkness, I heard movement. Not running, not walking. Dragging. Crawling. Dozens of bodies waking to the wrong kind of awareness. I ran. I didn't stop until I hit the parking lot, lungs burning, keys shaking in my hand as I unlocked my car. Behind me, the building stood silent, ordinary, unremarkable. No alarms, no screams, just another quiet night. I never went back. The official report said there was a power fluctuation, malfunctioning sensors, no evidence of tampering. Drawer C-17 was empty. They said the body had been released to the county. Sometimes when I wake up at night, I feel cold air on my skin, and I swear I can hear. Our metal sliding open, somewhere close, waiting.